So you've heard of different personality tests. Maybe you've heard of the Enneagram test or the Myers-Briggs and so on. But have you heard of the money personality test? Today we're going to talk about that here on the How Can We podcast. I'm Megan.
I'm Kurtis.
And I'm Rachel.
We're from Canopy Credit Union. We're here to talk about personal finances in a way that's approachable and immediately actionable. We want to cut through the stigma and get to the nitty-gritty things that you can do right now that will make a difference in your wallet today.
Yeah, I'll kick us off with reading through some of those money personality types. I'm curious to see what we will all resonate with. I kind of want to type you guys before we get into it, but I don't want to jinx
totally.
it.
Do it.
Let's guess.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, Kurtis, I guess. Well, actually, here, I'll read them and then we can answer in our heads. So the first one, we are taking this from a blog off of the website called The Skim. And the first one is called The Compulsive Saver. So saving money is a main source of security in your life, kind of thinking about it in that context. The next one is called the compulsive spender. Having that money burn a hole in your pocket. It happens, you guys. The compulsive money maker. So making money is really important to you. The indifferent to money personality. That's going to be an interesting one to talk about. The saver splurger. So not only compulsively saving, but also compulsively saving.
Or like a binge spender. So you save up and then you...
It's like saving with a purpose, almost. Like.
I wonder how that's different than like... Honestly, how's that different than being a spender? Just that you actually have it?
Can't
have your
hold on
why.
to money.
Yeah.
But I would say a compulsive saver splurger, you almost feel like you're trapped for so long and then it's like you let it all go.
It's like when you get a cheat meal and then it ends up being like the whole day of binge eating.
Exactly.
Because you're like, oh, I haven't been able to eat this pizza, so now I'm going to have 5.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Okay, so the saver splurger, that was that last one. The gambler... And so someone who wants to do risky investments and gets that high from that. And then the last one on this quiz is the worrier. So financial anxiety just gets to you. So I'll say them all really quickly one more time. We got the compulsive saver, the compulsive spender, compulsive money maker, the indifferent to money personality, the saver splurger, the gambler, and the worrier. Okay. There we have it. I bet you guys all have an idea in your head of what you are.
Oh, 100%. I feel like mine is so obvious.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm scared.
Of
okay,
course.
are we going to type each other? Is this dangerous?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Listeners, if this is our last podcast, we're sorry. We were feeling a bit ambitious. Okay, Kurtis, do you want to type us first?
No.
I'll do it.
Okay, Megan.
So I think Rachel is a saver. I think, Kurtis, you are a spender. And I think mine is so obvious since I have like 20 jobs. So.
Okay, I'm going to guess Megan's then. Megan is a compulsive money maker.
100%.
Oh,
I was going to say, yeah. Through and through.
And then, Kurtis, I don't know. Maybe you're a saver splurger.
That's where I originally was like, yep, that sounds like me. But maybe, hopefully, with a little more control.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because, like, to a degree, being a saver is important because I think being a saver and being a saver splurger is pretty close. Of, like, you save up well to be able to enjoy life, but maybe if you're splurging, that definitely does insinuate it's maybe a little too much.
Yeah. It's more of that short-term why where it's like,
so maybe
we saved up. Now we're going to go on vacation and we're going to spend that savings account for the vacation.
Totally. But you do love Costco. There is this issue.
It's a mini vacation every time.
Oh, my. Okay, what do you think I am? Megan gave her guess.
Saver.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're very, maybe not totally budget conscious, but you're often like, oh, I was going to do this thing, and then I saw the price, and then I don't do the thing.
That's
like go
true.
to a concert or buy a certain pair of shoes.
Or even we were walking over today, and we're hanging out in downtown Spokane, listeners, and we walked by the ice skating rink, and I caught myself. I was like, oh, the free rentals are on this day.
Yeah.
It's a difference
Budget.
of $6, but like I can't.
But because
not.
it's savings, you value that so much more.
It's very natural for you.
Yes. Also, I feel like as a younger person, I don't have the big bucks. And so I think I'm still in that mentality of like, well, I'm working with what I got.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. Okay, so those are our types. Was there any of those types that jumped out to you of maybe things that you've seen, maybe ones you've been before? Have you guys ever switched types?
When I was first reading that over, I thought, oh, I'm totally a spender.
Oh, interesting.
Because, listen, have you ever heard of Salmon Toast? Then when I got to the money maker, I go, oh, I'm a spender because I have that money maker mentality where I'm like, oh, I can just make the money
You can remake it.
and remake it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things I did today was run into your office and tell you about the new salmon crackers at Costco. So.
Exactly.
I love this theme of salmon. Who knew? I'm looking at the description for the compulsive moneymaker. It's interesting. It talks about even though you can live and save comfortably without the extra money, having it makes life more comfortable. Do you feel like that fits you?
Exactly. But also, I'm not saying, oh, this is just a bonus money because the economy has gotten the way it is. Now it's all necessary. But I could also probably spend less and then maybe not have to strive as much to make money. But there's always that, oh, but I could be doing more. I could be making more.
Kurtis, have you always been the category you think you're in right now? That do we decide saver splurger?
Yeah, I think so. And I've never
heard
it that way before. I always just assumed like, oh, I save with a purpose or a why. And then when I get to that purpose or why, then I'll just spend guilt-free on it. And then like if it's saving for a vacation that's going to be a couple weeks long, or even 5 days long or 2 days long, once you get there, then you can spend guilt-free. But I like that terminology better.
I think the thing to look out for that is there could be a floodgate opening. So you save for so long, and then oftentimes that happens like when there's a sale. And so you spend money on the sale, and now you get that, oh, I already did it, so now I might as well, like you were saying with the cheat diet. And so that's what's to watch for, and how you're so smart about it because you set that money aside. This is my separate vacation account. This is my separate walled off envelope.
Kind of feels like it's already spent.
And with that too, that's a good reminder of we all have these different personalities, but they aren't inherently bad. And like you've been able to find a way, Kurtis, to make it a really healthy way to do life. That's just who you are. Salmon toast sounds great every day. I don't know. But you have put in those guardrails, so it's still, you can keep doing it for the rest of your life without going crazy.
And then I would say for you, Rachel, as a spender, or as a saver, that's the big thing to watch out for is, are you missing out on life experiences 10 years from now? Will you be like, oh, I wish I had gone to that concert?
True. Yeah. Right now I'm debating, a friend was like, hey, do you want to go on vacation with me in like 2 months? And right now I'm like, if I had X amount more in my savings, I totally would. And so I'm like, well, why not? Like, is it that big of a deal? And so I'm definitely have that internal battle, which kind of gets to the idea of like, this is a personality thing. It's how we view money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's helpful to hear people say, well, you don't want to waste your life away just because you want that comfort of having the savings.
You can go too much though. That's where my issue is someone goes, hey, you want to go on vacation with me? And before I even hear where it is, I'm like, sign me up, done, already packed.
Booking tickets.
And then I have to go, oh, now I need to make the money to pay for this thing I already committed to. And then I'm scrambling.
Yeah,
right.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Personalities, how it plays in too. Perfect. Well, we are so glad that you all listened today. Kurtis, do you want to tell listeners a little bit about what financial coaching and how maybe talking to one of Canopy's financial coaches could help people kind of get on track of figuring out their money personality and how it affects their budget? Because I bet we all know how it impacts our budgets, but we get to think about these things all the time and we're passionate about it. But for listeners.
Yeah, that's a great question. Canopy is really unique in the fact that we offer free financial coaching from certified financial coaches. Typically, that's something that either you're going to pay quite a bit for. That can be as little as $60 an hour to as much as we've seen $300 an hour. And it's typically outsourced too to third-party vendors. So it's not necessarily a financial institution you get to work with. So that's what's really nice about Canopy's is you're going to work with that same financial coach from the start of your financial journey to the end, or just ongoing endeavors with your goals. And they work with you to create either a custom budget or what your goal is. Maybe your goal is to increase your credit score so that you can do what? Maybe buy a house or buy your first car. Maybe your goal is to work on some collections that you have on your credit report. And maybe your goal is to buy your second house or your lake house, right? It doesn't always have to be a more challenging or critical part of our financial journey. And so our coaches are always excited to tackle different challenges and opportunities with our members. But the cool thing too is you don't have to be a member of Canopy Credit Union. You can be a non-member and you can be just someone in our community that's looking for financial advice or help.
I love that. So how, if I'm interested in financial coaching and talking to someone at Canopy about it, how do I learn more?
Yeah, tons of different ways you can do it. Easiest is just to go online to canopycu.com/coach. You can call Canopy. You can come into the branch and say hi to us. Essentially, whatever works best for you, we're going to find a way to make sure you get the coaching you need.
Perfect. Okay, so canopycu.com/coach. Well, thank you all for listening and happy discovering your money personality.